And again in 5, 4, 3, 2. So do you want to start on this one instead? Mix it up.
No.
So in 5.
I don't even know what's
4, 3, 2. What's up, and thank you for listening to the Steve and Jay Show. I am not Steve, but don't you worry your pretty little heads, because this guy sitting right over here to my right-hand side with the pretty pink pen, he happens to be Steve Frazier. I'm Jason Courier, and this is our Raw review and reaction show for the WWE Monday Night Raw that was recorded on July the 24th. Or that was broadcast on July the 24th.
well played. So for all you YouTubers out there, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Click it. SteveandJShow.com. Also, on Twitter, hashtags come our way.
Hashtags.
Just throw it out
Give us
there.
some hashtags.
Give us some hashtags. At SteveandJShow.com.
So stupid.
I know, I love it. And Facebookers, hit that search button. Search it.
Mm-hmm.
Steve and J Show.
Should be able to
You
find
probably
us.
see it every 5 or 6 squirrels.
Should be squirrels.
So, yeah.
All right. So, Monday Night Raw. It always seems like the Monday Night Raws get a little bit long every week.
Dragged out.
They just get a little long, they seem.
Yeah.
I know it's not their fault that they have 3 hours to fill, but I don't know.
Well,
I
that-
don't mean to start out that way by talking shit on Raw.
Well, even then, knowing that you have those 3 hours to fill, I mean, how much time is shit time? How much is filler time?
Yeah.
It's starting to feel like it's,
Yeah.
you know, oh, it'll get exciting before a pay-per-view event, of course.
Right.
That's
Of course.
just how they roll.
Yeah, they're kind of in pre-setup mode now, too, where they haven't quite announced all the matches for SummerSlam, but they've announced a few of them.
Hinting.
And they're kind of hinting at some others. Yeah, so.
Trying to go some directions. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
They did a little bit of that in this here episode.
Right.
Night started out with Kurt Angle coming out to tell the world that he was glad that he came out and said that Jason Jordan was his son. He knew the moment that he saw Jason Jordan walking down that ramp. And that Jason Jordan would be making his big in-ring debut tonight.
The new signee to Raw. So not only that, but he signed in to
His
Raw.
big Raw in-ring debut. I should say.
So it was, ooh.
So, tease that. And then he also was going to announce the main event at SummerSlam and who was going to take on Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. When he was interrupted by Braun Strowman. Braun. Who was then interrupted by Samoa Joe, who was then interrupted by everybody's favorite, Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So,
That's going to be an interesting match.
what it ended up being was a big cluster F and a fight. And
Got a clog in the sink.
Kurt Angle ended up announcing that they are going to have a fatal four-way at SummerSlam between Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and
And see, I'm going to
Lesnar.
piggyback what you told me a couple days ago, too. I'm not a fan of this.
For a championship,
Yeah,
having the
for-
fatal
no,
anything,
no.
3-4 hours.
Because you always say there's always a comeback saying, oh, you didn't pin me. You didn't lose it.
Yeah, I didn't lose my title.
I didn't lose my title.
Yeah.
You know, they're always going to have that
Exactly.
some kind
You
of
pinned Samoa
BS.
Joe or you pinned Roman. How could you?
Yeah, like, woo. It's like, here we go.
Yeah.
So to save
I'm-
all that, why don't we just do it in the first place?
I can understand
Oh,
why they
no.
don't want to have Roman have the belt, or not Roman, Brock have the belt. with him. Because
Well, I mean,
we've said before how we never get to see it. So.
well, even then, I mean, shit.
And he can still do his thing. And he's gonna have to go do his UFC thing with.
Well, he's gonna have one more fight. He's gonna have one more fight.
He can't have a belt right now.
So the reason why I say that too is because I mean that totally makes sense as why he's been MIA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, well, if you're missing in action, then somebody can be here and defend that and, you know, do their normal little routine stuff, you know, rather than training for something else.
Do you think that his decision to go ahead and fight has put their idea for Roman Reigns to win a title and fast forward, and then they can still fight at WrestleMania after he is?
I think it was a contract thing with Brock, to where he was guaranteed a couple fights or whatever within many years, whatever it was that he got paid for, right? To take him out of WWE.
Mm.
And so now he's in WWE and out of the UFC. I think this fight's just to shut people up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's going to be one fight. I'm with you on that. There's going to be one more fight. And meaning shut people up, meaning that, oh, I'm still the man. Well, you're not. But
not like you used to be. But
you know what I mean? Get that paycheck. Get that one more payday.
Yeah,
well, it'll be a good paycheck.
Well, and we've seen that these guys don't make a killing. I'm sure he makes very good money doing what he does, but I'm not talking tens of millions of dollars.
Right.
I mean, he probably makes very good, but to the point where doing something like this would actually mean something to him as far as
it's like
financially.
CM Punk. He's wanting to come back.
Oh, is that right?
He's done with UFC.
Has he come out and said that? And
there's been talks that he's said it.
There's been talks that he said it. I like that.
No. I'm serious.
I like that.
That he brought it up and he was like, "Hey, my UFC career's done. I want to come back to WWE," but hasn't really said, "Yeah, I talked to so and so," or you don't necessarily legitimize it. Legitimize.
Do you think that he'd start out like in the indie circuit or something before?
No, he's gonna boom. He's gonna be on the card.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean, as far as his negotiations, do you think he would even?
Oh, if he comes back to wrestling, no, he's gonna be one of the guys. Because he was before.
Right. Yeah. No, I knew he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy before.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they would once they got the negotiations to a point where he's coming into WWE. I'm sure he would be one of their top. They'd push him for.
Oh, for sure.
Their top spots.
Well, he's a drawer, you know.
He's a draw on his own. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. He draws views.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the night. The Fatal 4-Way was announced, and I don't know. What do you think? Who's going to come away with that one? We said maybe Brock might lose it, but who do you think's coming away with it? And it's a good way for them to get it away from Brock without having him lose. Like you said, they can have somebody else be pinned. And
I think that's what it's going to boil down to. So it'll give, maybe, his space, his time to do what he needs to do without him actually stepping away, because it wouldn't be any different than it is now.
Right. Okay, here's the question. Who do you think it's going to be, and who are you rooting for it to be?
Oh.
And are they the same guy?
I think it's be Roman.
You really think so?
Yeah.
They're going to put his push and fast forward instead of having him beat Brock at WrestleMania, maybe have him fight Brock at WrestleMania, but he's already the title holder.
Here's why I say Roman. Because it's eventually you go down to Sonoma Joe and Roman Reigns.
Right.
They're going to have their little battle, and Samoa Joe is going to beat him.
Oh, really, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and do you think that the rumors are true? Oh, no, wait, that's not. Never mind. I was going to say the Money in the Bank, but that's a SmackDown thing. It's not a Raw thing.
Oh.
I can't keep it straight.
I do the same thing, bro. There's so much going on. Like, who, what?
And who would you root for, though, if you, who'd be your pick? Because you used to be a Roman guy at one point.
I used to
back in the day.
But this is the way I look at it. Like Strowman, like Braun, like we've seen enough of him.
We've seen and he only does so much. He just throws guys around and dominates them. That's not.
Yeah. It's like Samoa Joe. It's like, okay, you play the part, but it's like Roman to me.
I like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe might be my choice as far as the.
You got Samoa Joe?
I don't know if he'll win it. That's my choice as far as who I would like to see win it is Samoa Joe.
Oh, gotcha.
I'd like to see him win it.
Gotcha.
But I wanted him to beat Brock at Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah,
too,
true.
But yeah, you could be right. It might be Roman, and like I said, once Brock decided that he's going to do his UFC thing, then they had to put the whole Roman thing and fast forward and get him the title.
Well, because it kind of makes sense a little bit. It gives him that little reason for excuse that something like what else is different than what it normally is. Once every 6 months guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So, anyway, now the first match of the night on the Monday Night Raw
Boom.
was a no DQ match between. That didn't mean that they couldn't order Dairy Queen. That meant that there's no disqualification.
DQ be
That does sound very nice right now. Anyway, it was a no DQ match, so you need to stop thinking about DQ. No DQ match, so between Finn Balor and Elias Sampson. Steve's favorite, Elias Sampson. It was actually a decent match. I liked it. It was an okay match. It was the third time we've seen these guys, so it's kind of getting to that point where it's like, okay, how many times are we going to have to watch these two go at it?
You know what? I would understand if it was like for maybe like a minute or two. But, man.
But the good news is that Bray Wyatt came out again and stuck his nose in Finn Balor's business again.
He has to. That's Bray, right?
That's what he's going to do. He delivered Sister Abigail to Finn Balor. Finn looked like he was going to pick up the big Debbie and was climbing to the top ropes and going to deliver the coup de grace.
That's right.
And the lights went out and Bray came out. And lights came back on and Bray already had Finn wrapped up in Sister Abigail and gave him a kiss and away she went.
Night.
Left him there for Elias to crawl over to and pin for the win.
So it kind of makes you think with that, though. I mean, is there going to be an alliance? Is there going to be some kind of merge? Is he part of the new thing?
Bray does need some family members.
Right? Is this his new family? Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Like, are these the new members that he's trying to recruit?
I think he's just after Finn Balor, and it doesn't matter I don't think who his opponent. I'm assuming it doesn't really.
Yeah, but he never does anything like that alone. He's always got his muscle.
He always has.
Yeah. Always has his muscle.
Yeah.
Right now, he doesn't have his muscle.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was thinking when he started that whole thing with Roman Reigns, he was on his own, and then he brought Strowman into the mix during the whole.
That's when he introduced character for Strowman.
Yeah, and during that too, didn't he end up hooking back up with Harper and Rowan too? Because he wasn't hooked up with them there for a while, was he? And then
I don't even know.
And then he brought him back all of a sudden, didn't? I thought. Anyway. If you know the answer to that one, why don't you write us?
Yeah, please.
Because I think that I'm thinking that's what happened with that. And so maybe that's what they're doing again. Maybe he's starting another feud on his own, and then he's going to slowly bring characters into his army and build his army back up.
That's what I'm thinking.
That'd be pretty cool.
Starting a new family.
Be pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
So at least a new family member. And then you can bring Harper and Rowan back. That would be okay. So, next match of the night was between former tag team partners and our boys, Enzo Amore and Big Cass, our least favorite rivalry in
Boo.
wrestling altogether. Our
Boo.
least favorite rivalry.
Boo.
So, yeah, Big Cass kicked Enzo Amore around the ring for a while until he went ahead and pinned him, and after the pin and the win, he had to look like he was going to go ahead and put the boots to old Enzo some more. And Big Show decided to come out and stick his nose back into business again, and WWE's real PG, and they do a lot of things that are just real PG. They err on the PG side. Like Balor's Bullet Club is Balor Club now instead of Bullet Club.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at with that.
As an example.
I got you.
So
why is that though? I mean,
that's the way they want it. They want to err on the PG side.
take the fun out of everything.
So when Big Show is stepping up to the ring and Big Cass has a limp Enzo Amore in his arms and says, "Don't come any closer, I'm going to snap his neck like a toothpick." It's a little alarming to hear. It kind of gets your attention. Like it was said loud enough, but I heard it. I don't know. I heard it quite loud and clear.
I wouldn't know how to really, how my reaction would be to something like that. As far as at the end there at that time.
It's like, I thought you guys didn't do that.
Yeah, it was like, man.
That's what I meant in the alarming. In that it's just like,
yeah, it's just like, man, that ain't you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you do. It's not what got you here.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Because obviously it's not working.
It's not the way they've been selling it the last few years. Because after,
I mean, shit, they're doing national commercials.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Doing, what was it, KFC commercials or something.
Well, yeah, it's even then. You don't have to really be the winners and all this and everything else to have popularity and to have revenue and to bring in income. Like, character-wise, you have your ones that everybody talks about, and then obviously you're going to have your winners and your losers, right? And just Enzo and Cass just had to be one of those.
They were the ones that took the...
they lost, whatever, but they... Remember when they came out, we're like, dude, how do they know the song?
I know that first time out. Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow.
And that's the thing that's
came
lacking.
in with that, and they never. That's the thing that I don't understand is
they
came in with that kind of hype, and they broke them up already before they really reached their peak.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean,
and they came in with such buzz,
there's
and
too
they
many
didn't.
Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're trying to make so many Chiefs, and it's like you have to have your Indians to make your Chiefs. I mean, I'm sorry.
I suppose.
Just like Fashion Police.
Yeah.
Are they winning matches? Are they doing
type
this?
team.
Are they turning it up? No, but they're just characteristically like they're liked. Their characters are interesting. It's funny. They grow on you.
Yeah, I got you.
Samson just still won't grow on me.
Yeah,
What fucking happened? Like,
So anyway, back to the show. And speaking of the show, cheap shot by Big Cass, and he got the edge on Big Show again, and started kicking the heck out of Show and kicking him around the ring, and did his thing and dropped about 10,000 of his Empire elbows. That's what he calls them.
yeah, boo.
Yeah. Which was not that awesome. But I think didn't he have just the boot as his finisher before, so at least it's better than the boot, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how much better, but at least it's better.
well, the Empire was the setup for his boot.
Oh, was it before? Or was the boot the setup for the
boot? The boot was
Empire?
first, and then the Empire was second.
Gotcha.
Because
That
the
makes
boot was the
sense.
setup.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. that fancy.
Yeah, and still boo.
Yeah, I would rather see him with Enzo, but whatever. At least let him ride it out for a little bit longer and before you break him up.
Yeah, I tell you what,
It would make the breakup better if they actually did something.
But I mean, think about it. Zoe told Kaz all that shit. Kaz still turned on him. Took a little bit. Turned on him and all that shit, whatever.
Yeah.
If
I
Kaz was like feeling like how Zoe was feeling before all that shit, like it ain't just gonna happen overnight. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, then well, where they got setting up then? Because I mean, obviously this shit ain't working. Like this is poop.
Yeah.
You know, you break up something great to
For
have
this,
their
for
own
mediocre
individual shit careers to go down when they're better.
For a mediocre rivalry for a dude that wants to hang it up here at WrestleMania, I would imagine, because he wanted to hang it up at last WrestleMania and it didn't work out for him.
It didn't work out, exactly.
So I would think that this next WrestleMania is probably it for him.
I would assume.
Like the re-it for him.
Right? Like, come on.
I would think, yeah.
Why not?
So,
poor guy.
Next match of the night was Emma against Nia Jax. And this one was set up when Emma was approaching Kurt Angle and made a snotty comment of, well, maybe I should just date Jason Jordan.
Sure.
And so he said, well, I've got an idea. Why don't I put you in a match against Nia Jax tonight? And then Nia Jax went out there and mopped the floor with her.
I was about to say, like, that was ridiculous.
It was
God.
She pretty much threw her around the ring. And
that was a championship match?
No, it wasn't a championship match. It was just Emma.
But I'm just saying, though, you know what I mean? Like, she wants a belt and a title.
Yeah, she was in there complaining and whining.
Like, what?
Well, maybe I should date Jason Jordan. And so Kurt said, I'll tell you what.
I got one better for you.
I got one better for you. I'll have you in a match tonight.
They call me the one-upper.
You can fight Nia Jax.
Jesus.
So then they did a little thing with Akira Tozawa and Titus O'Neil, and Tozawa saying that he had requested another rematch between him and Daivari, and Titus had caught wind of it and came in the background and said, I had that canceled in your benefit because you don't know what's good for you and I do, kind of thing. And
oh, yeah.
then Tozawa threw a little hissy fit.
Yeah.
Charged into the ring, went stomping down the aisle. And I'm going to come down. And he's calling out Daivari and wanted his rematch right then and right now, and he had his shoulder taped up, of course. Neville decided to go ahead and come out and spoil the party. And I thought that it was going to be a Neville and Tozawa match, like right then, and Neville reminded Tozawa that he's already been there, done that with him, and has already beaten him, and he needs to just pretty much shut up and go away.
Yeah.
And then Daivari came and attacked, or I believe Neville and Tozawa fought first, and then Daivari came in and attacked as well. And
gotcha.
They both beat the living snot out of Tozawa.
See,
which they're trying to make the whole storyline thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I don't like the little route they're going.
Daivari, and use Titus O'Neil in there, and
yeah,
Titus worldwide, and trying to make Titus be.
And then guess who's gonna sneak in there? Well, guess who's gonna sneak in there is Titus O'Neil, and he's gonna have, you know what I mean?
I'm sure something's gonna come up. They're gonna do something of it. I'm sure. Yeah.
Like how you say, they're like they're bigs.
They do, but I kind of like that they're basically using him as a manager, and they're doing it opposite. Like they're instead of taking a little guy and making him the manager for the big guy, like Jimmy Hart was the little guy and he was always, the manager for the big guys, and instead of doing that way, they're going with the big guy and putting him as a manager for a little guy. I think that's kind of.
Yeah, a little different.
Kind of cool. Yeah, it's a different little twist.
Twist to it. Yeah,
I like it.
I'm with you on that.
Well done, WWE. I like it. We don't say that very often.
I was gonna say, oh,
Yeah. Well done. I like it.
hold your tongue.
Hold your
player.
tongue. Well, I kind of like the whole Titus. I don't know. I just like Titus.
Titus
too.
Brands, boo.
You don't like Titus?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Anyway, so next match was Miss Sasha Banks, the boss,
Oh.
against Bayley to determine who is the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And Alexa Bliss, at the very start of the match, Bayley was still entering the ring, and Alexa was right on her tail. And
Yeah, just right.
yeah,
Of course.
Alexa decided
Of
to come
course.
down to ringside, and she was gonna check some things out. So, in the match, Sasha delivered a frog splash to Bayley, which was pretty sweet.
I was gonna say that was pretty
Yeah.
damn sweet.
I like Banks, though. She's really good.
She's a flyer.
Yeah, she's awesome.
You know, she's not scared to do
Bailey's
the
good at
flippies
what
and
she does
dippies.
too. I like Bayley too. She just has kind of got a bad.
Bailey's got the personality. Sasha's got the moves. You know.
Well, and the cool thing is Bayley believe it or not, rolled Banks over on Banks' pin attempt when after the splash to pin Bayley. She rolled her over and snuck in a pin of her own and got the victory.
Nice.
So it'll be Bayley against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam
Nice.
for the women's championship. So Bayley snuck in there and got herself another title opportunity.
Shit.
Not bad for somebody that was supposedly being pushed down to a mid-card type and wasn't going to be pushed for a championship run anymore and was just going to kind of
And up for the title.
find her spot kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. See who she mends into,
Mm-hmm.
molds into.
Yeah, so it's good for Bayley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good girl.
They haven't really booked her well, and they just haven't used her well, I don't think. Especially with as popular as she was at NXT, she hasn't been that popular at WWE for whatever reason. They just
Well,
haven't.
it just made
hasn't
you seem
happened.
that they're just gonna ride that train as long as shit. Remember the balloons and everything, every
yeah.
entrance,
Yeah.
and then it just slowly graduates,
Yeah.
slow down.
Yeah.
You know, like how you're saying, it makes
Need to
you
bring
wonder,
back the
like,
balloons.
why don't they're a little.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell they were,
Yeah.
but whatever. They
The-
look like Sour Patch candies.
She's selling used cars,
Yeah, yeah.
furniture,
$4.99 pizza.
clearance, grand opening.
No, but I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So, next match of the night was Jason Jordan making his Raw debut against one of Steve's favorite, Mr. Kurt Hawkins, who stood there with his pretty little. He had his cane,
Yeah.
whatever the hell that thing is,
Yeah,
that he
what the
walks into the
hell
ring
that
with.
shit is.
Yeah, he stood there while Jason Jordan made his entrance, and Jason Jordan pretty much mopped the floor with him.
See, honestly, the reason why I'm silent on that, I don't watch the fight.
Yeah, that one was
I didn't watch
pretty
the
much
match.
just Jason Jordan throwing him around and gave him a few suplexes and did a few things to him and ended up getting the pin for the win.
Not a fan.
Yeah, he looked good doing it. I mean, they'll give him a good push, I'm sure. So, get used to him. Probably not going anywhere anytime soon.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up. That's what I was saying.
No, I know
This is
you're-
a start.
yeah, I know
Not
you're not a
looking
big
forward
fan,
to it.
so.
Boo. Anyway.
Then, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows took on the Revival in a match that was kind of odd in the way it started because they threw the Revival out there first and they had them do their super heel thing where they take over the interview and they kick out the interview.
Yeah.
Well, we got this. And then they had Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows come down the ramp and call the Revival nerds and said they were bald ski and did their whole bit that they do when they're the baby face.
Well, it kind of makes you think, though. Like, they're almost necessarily, like, how I look at it, replacements.
Well, and it's like they just turned
They're
them
almost the same
babyface
team.
without even doing anything.
You
They
know?
just
Yeah.
threw it out there like, oh, yep, they're baby faces now, and we did it by showing what douchebags Revival are, and then we had these guys come in and call them nerds and make jokes and do the ski thing and
I'm kind of with you on that.
Too Sweet Me, and it
I
was
don't-
just awkward. The whole
Yeah.
the whole thing was kind of awkward.
Yeah. I really didn't pay attention much to that.
Well,
one.
and the way they ended it too was odd in that the Hardy Boys came out at the end, but
Well, that was
Anderson
their
and
time.
Gallows
But that
still
was their
didn't pick
time
up the win.
for
They still lost.
Them putting out their broken type of
I don't know what they're.
right.
Well, and they came in and they attacked the Revival, so they've got their little rivalry going on with the
Yeah.
Revival. So
Wait, rivalry with Revival.
Revival. Yeah.
Say that 10 times.
try that.
Well played.
Yeah.
I definitely would have stuttered on that one.
So they've got that.
Shit.
So,
Revival with rival.
but the whole
rivalry.
the
with
whole
Revival.
Anderson and Gallows though are good guys now. They're baby faces now. And they just kind of sprung that on us, and just here it is.
I hope they go when AJ goes.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but sorry.
Neither one of them go anywhere for a little bit at least. I hope they got a little bit more run left in them.
We'll see, right?
Yeah. True. So the match of the night, my favorite match of the night, closed it out. The almost Shield reunion with
Almost, yeah.
Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose teaming up together for the first time. And first they said 2 years, and I think they said 3 years. They were all over the
I was
place
gonna say,
as
they
far
were
as
jumping around.
how many years it's been.
It was
but-
confusing me when the start date was.
It was still pretty cool to see the two of them back together.
cool.
And see their little
They had
chemistry
that
that
little
they
flow.
still got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they took on Miz and his Miz Taraj.
God. Miz Taraj. I said it right.
Holy
Miz Taraj.
smokes. Wow, folks. Yeah. So,
Boo.
yeah.
God. Believe. And
So-
Kurt Axel.
Yeah, and Kurt Axel.
God.
So.
Jesus.
Seth and Dean picked up the win when Dean turned the skull crushing finale around and delivered his own
Yeah, that was cool.
Dirty Deeds. Dirty Deeds. And picked up the win. And then both he and Seth are super pumped. They're running around. Everybody's happy. Everybody's stoked. Seth was super fired up. Dean was super fired up too.
Oh, I
And
didn't lean
then
up. Yeah, do
Seth puts out the
bump.
fist to do the
the
old
shield.
shield thing, and that's when Dean freezes and just kind of looks at him and turns around and walks back up the ramp. And there's a cool little moment where he's almost to the point where he's heading up the ramp, and then he kind of pauses like, am I doing the right thing, or should I go back in there? And he kind of half looks back.
Oh, I got that
and-
little guilt trip.
yeah, and then he
Yeah.
pushes on and walks his way up the ramp, and that's the way the show ended, was fade to black as Dean's walking up the ramp with Seth standing in the ring and with his fist out, lonely.
Damn.
So, I thought it was a pretty fun little cool match.
You know,
Probably setting something up for
I was just
SummerSlam, I
gonna
would
say
imagine.
they're probably setting something up.
Something
They're
else.
starting to set up some rivals, something,
Mhm.
some hatred, something,
Mhm.
jealousy, whatever it is.
If you are watching us on the YouTube, and you could please click the subscribe button down below and click the notification bell if you want to be notified when we post new stuff. We promise not to post things at odd hours of the morning when we like to do our recording.
You do.
I promise.
You do.
Yes, I promise. So don't be afraid to click the bell. We won't post too late. I promise. StephenJShow.com is our website that is still under construction, but we're getting closer and we're working on it. We almost got it. So check us out there soon. We'll let you know when we got it all fired up. Twitter, you can follow us there at Steve and Jay Show, as Steve says.
And give us some hashtags. Holla at your boy.
Oh, shit. If you want to find us on Facebook, you can either search for us there or down below in the information, I have a link for our Facebook page as well that actually works.
I was going to say that's actually pretty direct.
Works. So,
yeah, that's a good one.
You can go right to it. So, or, like I said, you can search for us there on Facebook, and Steve and Jay Show. It pops up pretty easily. So, anyway, thank you guys for listening. We've gotten way too long now, so thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Thank you. Good night.